The Viltram Empire once stood unmatched, its dominion stretching across galaxies. But the scourge virus nearly wiped him out, crippling their numbers and pushing the empire toward extinction. The doctrine of eliminating the weak only worsened their decline, leaving too few warriors to maintain their rule. Now, every conquest is a lifeline. Each new world must serve a dual purpose: expanding the empire's control and securing viable partners to rebuild their dwindling numbers. Varu Kal, a warrior bred for war, is entrusted with a solo mission: to locate and conquer a new planet in the name of the Empire. His objectives are clear. Assess the planet's viability for conquest and occupation. Locate and evaluate potential partners for reproduction. Eradicate or assimilate any obstacles to the Empire's resurgence. His search leads him to an uncharted world, a planet untouched by viltrumite influence. As he descends through the cold skies, his sharp eyes scan the land below. Remnants of a civilization lie buried beneath layers of ice, statues frozen in time like echoes of a forgotten past. Amidst the desolation, a lone figure moves among the statues. She is a young woman with long, silver-white hair cascading past her shoulders, adorned with a delicate, star-shaped ornament on the left side of her head. A light blue-green cloak drapes around her, fastened at the collar with a dark blue ribbon. The fabric sways gently with her movements, blending into the snowy landscape. Varu Kal observes in silence. This planet is habitable, confirmed to support intelligent life. More importantly, the inhabitants are humanoid, making them potentially viable for repopulation efforts. Even if they weren't genetically compatible, it wouldn't matter. Viltrumite DNA would assert dominance, overwriting any weakness in the offspring. Biology was never an obstacle, only submission or destruction. Still, he lingers a moment longer, watching her tend to the frozen statues with deliberate care. Not out of sentimentality, he has no use for such things, but because understanding this world is the first step to conquering it. To subjugate a people, one must first identify their strongest defenders, and eliminate them. With that thought, Varu Kal moves forward. The white-haired girl notices his approach immediately. Her posture tenses, and she instinctively steps backward, cautious of the stranger before her. Her violet eyes flicker with wariness, as if sensing something unnatural about him, something dangerous. Then, without warning, her crystal pendant glows. Brilliant white light erupts from it, scattering across the snow before converging into a single form, a creature with sleek white fur and piercing blue eyes, resembling a feline but radiating power far beyond a mere beast. It lands between them, standing protectively in front of the girl, its sharp gaze fixed on Varu Kal. "Amelia, get back!" The creature growls, its voice filled with urgency. "That man is dangerous. I don't know why, but I can feel it." Varu Kal understood that launching an attack without knowledge of the planet's defenses would be reckless. A single miscalculation could mean his death before he even weakened their stronghold. He needed time, information, and an opportunity. So, for now, he played nice. With a calm, neutral expression, he spoke. "I mean no harm. I was lost in the forest. Tell me where to go." "Puck, if he's really lost, don't you think he's just trying to find his way?" Amelia asked, tilting her head slightly. Puck seemed to be in deep contemplation, his small body unnaturally still as he re-evaluated his choices. Should he continue protecting the world of Amelia, or should he deal with this stranger right now, turning him into a walking pincushion? Varu Kal kept a careful eye on the spirit. Puck's instincts had never been wrong before, and that alone made him dangerous. If he decided that Varu Kal was a threat, things could turn bad quickly. "Just this once, let's help him find his way, and we go on our separate ways," Amelia said gently, her violet eyes full of kindness. Puck, however, remained skeptical. His tail flicked as he floated just above her shoulder, ears twitching. "Do you really believe this stranger? Consider this based on my contract," he cautioned, his voice laced with doubt. Amelia gave a small smile, undeterred. "Trust me, Puck." With a sigh, the little spirit relented. He drifted up and perched atop her head, his tiny body nestled in her silver hair. He still didn't trust this stranger. His instincts screamed that something was off, but for now, he would let it be. Amelia cautiously approached the stranger, her bluish-purple eyes gazing up at Varu Kal. Though wary, there was no immediate hostility in her expression, only curiosity. "Is there a city or settlement nearby where I can stay until I find my way?" Varu Kal asked, his voice even, betraying nothing of his true intentions. Amelia nodded slightly. "There's a village to the north. If you keep heading in that direction, you'll find it eventually. If you'd like, I can accompany you through the forest once I'm finished with my routine. Varu Kal remained silent for a moment, observing her. This world was primitive, perfect for conquest. He had yet to see true defenses, and if this girl was any indication of the people here, they were naive. She had no idea what he was. No idea what he was capable of. I will consider your offer, Amelia. His expression remained unreadable. Once you've completed your daily obligations, you may accompany me. Amelia nodded before returning to her routine, stepping through the snow with quiet determination. She moved from statue to statue, gently brushing away the accumulated snowflakes with her hands. Varu Kal watched for a moment before speaking, his brow slightly raised. Why bother cleaning these statues? It seems inefficient. The logic eluded him. The statues served no function. They neither provided warmth nor sustenance, nor did they aid in survival. And yet, she tended to them with such care. Amelia glanced at him briefly before returning to her task. It's my responsibility to keep them clean, even if it's a futile effort. Varu Kal observed her in silence, trying to understand. This was not the behavior of a mere caretaker. There was something deeper here, something he had never seen before. His gaze shifted away from the statues to the surrounding area. Beyond the snow-covered clearing, there was nothing but dense forest, except for a single tree with a door embedded into its trunk, as if nature itself had been molded into a home. His eyes returned to the statues. And what do you gain from this? Amelia's hands stopped mid-motion. For a moment, she was still, staring at the statue before her. Its surface was smooth and glassy, reflecting the pale light of the sky. This one, it looked like her. Too much like her. Varu Kal narrowed his eyes slightly, considering the implications. A cultural practice, perhaps. A way to honor the dead. Finally, Amelia spoke, her voice quieter than before. To remember the people who once lived here. After 2 hours of tending to the statues, Amelia let out a quiet sigh and sat down on a fallen tree trunk. Her gaze lingered on the frozen figures, her expression distant, lost in thought. Nearby, Puck floated beside her, his small, feline form shimmering in the cold air. His blue eyes flicked toward the stranger in the distance, his ears twitching with unease. Leia, I still have a bad feeling about our friend. We don't even know his name. And those clothes of his. Suspicious. You're not taking this lightly, are you? Amelia's fingers traced absent-mindedly over the fabric of her cloak as she considered his words. I understand what you're saying, Puck. He does seem unusual, and I won't deny that his appearance raises questions. She paused, then glanced toward where Varu Kal stood. But if he were dangerous, wouldn't he have already shown his hand? Besides, it's far more likely that he's just a lost traveler. This forest isn't safe, after all. People go missing here all the time. Puck huffed, flicking his tail. That's exactly my point. Amelia sighed again, shaking her head. I'll be careful, I promise. As Amelia finished that thought, a loud grumble from her stomach reminded her of another pressing need. Food. She sighed, moving aside a strand of her cloak as she reached into a small duffel bag she had brought along. Opening it, she pulled out a handful of walnuts, something she had packed just in case hunger struck. She cracked one open and took a small bite, savoring the earthy flavor, though her thoughts were elsewhere. She was running low on supplies. A trip to the village would be necessary soon. As she mulled over the idea, her gaze drifted toward the stranger in the distance. He stood apart from her, surveying the vast white landscape with an unreadable expression. Or rather, he wasn't standing at all. He hovered just above the snow, completely unaffected by gravity. Tall and powerfully built, his dark hair moved slightly in the breeze, and a thick mustache framed his sharp, chiseled face. His clothes, a tight, form-fitting uniform, was white with striking details that made it unlike anything she had seen before. Amelia tightened her grip around the walnut in her hand. Who exactly was this man? The stranger began to float toward Amelia, his piercing gaze fixed on her. His expression was unreadable, yet there was something in his eyes, curiosity, perhaps, or calculation. I have seen no signs of life within a 20-mile radius, he said, his deep voice cutting through the silence. Why is that? Varu Kal's interest wasn't mere idle curiosity. If this planet was to serve as a birthing ground for the Viltramite Empire, its viability depended on a strong and plentiful population. But from what he had seen so far, this world was anything but thriving. A problem, indeed. There's a village not far from here. We'll reach it soon enough, Amelia said as she stood, brushing the snow off her coat. She needed to go there anyway, whether she liked it or not. Supplies were running low. But before that, there was something else she had to take care of: money. And without any on hand, there was only one way to get some. With that thought, she turned to the stranger. But first, I need to gather more mana crystals. Varu Kal narrowed his eyes slightly. Mana crystals? What do you mean by that? Intrigued, Varu Kal followed Amelia, floating effortlessly beside her. His mind lingered on her words, mana crystals. These crystals contain condensed mana and can be traded for goods, Amelia explained, sensing his curiosity. Yes, Puck added, more specifically, blue mana crystals. They're the most valuable. Varu Kal considered this information. A primitive system, yet efficient in its own way. If these resources held such value on this planet, understanding their role could prove useful for future conquest. After accompanying Amelia on her journey, Varu Kal watched as she finally came to a stop. He narrowed his eyes, confused by her actions. Following her gaze, he noticed the faint glow of crystals embedded within the landscape. So these must be the blue mana crystals. Without a word, Amelia stepped forward, approaching a large tree with an opening at its base. She leaned in, her body halfway inside the hollow trunk, and disappeared for a few moments. When she emerged, she carried a brown duffel bag slung over her shoulder. Walking up to Varu Kal, she loosened the drawstrings of the bag and reached inside. With a small tug, she pulled out several small, glass-like shards, sharp, cylindrical, and faintly glowing with an ethereal blue light. This is a blue mana crystal, she said, holding one up for him to see.